It is often a norm for companies to do background check, even for high paid position. So what I have noticed is that sometimes people have a misdemeanor, a DUI. You could be an attorney, you have a DUI. You could be a doctor, you have a DUI. Or you could be an electrician, a maintenance manager in a factory. Now, I am again going back to the fundamental about the background check and the drug test. You need to be truthful, because if the company has a policy to run your background check and you tell them never been arrested, never been DUI, and they find out that you have, even DUI is a misdemeanor, and they may not have a problem with misdemeanor versus a felony, then you lie at the beginning, that could cost you the job. Even I've noticed people had felony, they still got the job. So at the beginning, when they ask you those questions, you have to be truthful, but you also have to show that if you had a DUI a couple years ago and it's still showing up in your background check, you have to be honest about it and say, yes, I've been arrested for a DUI. It affected me, it affected my family. I learned my lesson, but yes, indeed, I had a DUI. If you had a felony and is not a violent felony, in some states, if you have, marijuana in your car, that could be a felony. But depending on the nature of your employer, they may not be as detrimental to them, even on a felony. But unless it's a violent, it's a robbery with gun and you shot somebody, then yeah, you're in the mercy of that employer. But the main underlining is being truthful and bring it up at the earliest stage. The same thing is about background check, about the drug test. So if they have a policy of drug test, and you using any kind of drugs, whether you're in a state that certain drugs are legalized, you need to be truthful with them. Because if they, again, you tell them, no, I've not done any drugs, never used drugs, and then you go for a drug test and it shows, they would disqualify you. Now, again, you could tell them the truth and ask them, how do they feel? If I have a DUI 2 or 3 years ago, would that disqualify me from this role? Or if you using a medical marijuana, would that disqualify? You should know at the beginning if that is a part of their job description, a part of their posting, that, hey, background check and drug test is required for this role. You better know at the beginning. Because remember, interviewing is stressful. You don't want to go through a process, a second and third interview, just to find out you may be disqualified. But having said that, if you're honest and transparent and tell them on upfront, and they may let you go through it. But if you lie, they're not going to forgive you for that.